This is Colin O'Keefe here for LXBN TV. With the advent of Netflix, TV everywhere, and a multitude of other mediums, it seems the current model of cable television won't be around forever. So if a la carte cable is coming, what'll bring it about? Joining me to discuss the potential for it is attorney Jody Simon. He's with Fox Rothschild and author on the firm's Pay or Play law blog. Jody, first off, you wrote on a suit between Verizon FiOS and ESPN. And there's bound to be, of course, litigation around the a la carte subject. This is kind of just the first really big suit that we've seen. But is litigation something that could potentially bust up the current model?
Well, probably not. The Verizon ESPN dispute is just honestly going to turn on the terms of the agreement, the carriage agreement between Verizon and ESPN, which says what it says. I haven't seen it. So Verizon obviously felt they had a justification and were throwing down the gauntlet in some sense so they could start to move themselves toward a more a la carte model, which I think is clearly following consumer preference. So no, I was cable companies are not going to overall advance that agenda through consistent litigation. That's an expensive and time-consuming way of solving what's, basically a market issue. So I don't think that's where this is going to go. I know John McCain, was talking about introducing legislation to force a la carte. And obviously, the FCC has been sniffing around that issue as well. My gut is that the government will let the market control this one. There's clearly a lot of consumer demand for increased number of increased consumer choice in channel offerings, but it's hard to predict how it'll play out, frankly. There's got to be some kind of bundling. If you think about it, if the average consumer watches 17 channels and the price point is $9.99 a channel, consumers aren't saving anything by getting the channels they want. So there will be some kind of curation or bundling, and the question is how's that going to work? And the interplay between the over-the-top services and the cable offerings. Again, it's just playing out now. This is an exciting time, and I think those of us who are watching this area, we can see the trends, but I think it would be premature to predict exactly how the TV Anywhere model is going to play out.
Yeah, exactly. I think, like you mentioned with the market-based solutions, we have that legislation with McCain. And obviously, the reason McCain is bringing forward legislation is because this seems to be consumer preference. And you see the market kind of coming towards that. Like, for example, we saw HBO Go recently launch their platform, which is, I think, $20 a month to be able to get all of HBO stuff. But yeah, I mean, it really seems like legislation is just, there might be efforts there and there might be efforts in litigation, but it seems like, again, this is, like you mentioned, going to be the market that really steers this in the direction towards a la carte cable.
And HBO can probably may be able to get $20 a month, but CBS is going over the top too for I think $9.99, and that's a little trickier. That's one of 4 broadcast networks, so right there you're at $40 just to get your broadcast. I don't see it.
Exactly. It's interesting to watch to see how it all plays out. We'll have to keep an eye on it going forward for sure. But it's just interesting, like you mentioned. I think it's going to be the market that finds the solutions. You see FiOS taking a stab at it, and then ESPN firing back. But it's going to be a series of skirmishes, it seems, that eventually get things far down the road.
Oh yeah, exactly right.
Once again, that was Jody Simon of Fox Rothschild. For more of his insight on the subject, be sure to visit the Pay or Play blog. It's at payOrPlay.foxrothschild.com. Thanks for joining me today, Jody.
Thank you, Colin. Nice to talk to you.